Excuse me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl, Frances K, right here. And good evening, and thank you all for joining in today again. If you're joining in live, please don't forget you can call in on the toll-free number, which I'm going to put at the bottom right there. And if you're joining us recorded, whilst we've actually finished the program, don't forget to share and please leave your comments. We'll get back to you right there. I love you all and hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful week. For me, I've had a mixed feelings week, basically. But again, I tried to just compose myself, especially within the Sierra Leonean community. You all know what I mean, most of you, anyway. And I went to see Adekule Gold over the weekend. It was really good. It was on Tuesday. It was lovely. But I miss you all. And today we actually have a very solid topic for you guys. Because one thing I've noticed in our community and everywhere within the black community is this thing called pride that is killing our relationships. And pride can be a good thing, don't get me wrong. Because the reason why I said that, because as a mom, if my kids actually pass their exams, and let me say they're going to school and then they pass their exams and they bring their report home or they actually get scholarships, I feel pride and it's really good. That feeling just makes me feel so good. So it's a prideful feeling and that is really good. So in a good aspect, that's the good thing. But at the same time, it can be really bad, especially in a relationship content. But I don't want to go too deep into that because I've got a panel with me that we're going to discuss about it today. And we're going to see how we can help each other to understand it better and help each other as well, how we can work with pride and how we can identify it in our relationships. If it's good for us or it's a negative effect on our relationship and on our life in general. So, without saying anything further, don't forget to press the subscribe button on Calabash Princess Network. And also don't forget to share and don't forget to leave your comment underneath, please. And this is an interactive program. Please, please, please interact with us. Don't just watch. Leave your comments and interact with us as well. Let me bring in my panel, and I don't call them a panel, I call them a co-host and my lovely friends. So first, let me bring to you first on screen. We'll bring the only man for today. Because our other male, which is Pascal, is not available today. So, Uncle Pascal, hi. We miss you dearly and hope to see you next week, Thursday. Let us bring Uncle Carl in to the screen. Hi, Uncle Carl. How are you doing today?
I have my pride and I cannot lie. I'm not doing too good right now.
You're feeling good. That's good.
I'm not doing good right now. I'm not doing
You,
good at all.
why are you not doing good?
Uncle Uncle Pascal bailed out on this one, you know, left me with three women on the panel to be attacked on the subject about pride in a relationship. Uncle Pascal, don't call me no more. Don't call me no more.
This is me laughing, Uncle Pascal. Uncle Pascal, I'm busy laughing right now. You ran away. Uncle Carl said, don't call him next time. Let me bring in my other lovely, lovely darling with me. Today, let me bring in the lovely, lovely Auntie Isa in. Hi, Auntie Isa. How are you doing?
Well, hello. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm tired. Just got off work. So it's always a rush on Thursday to meet the 8 o'clock hour show, but thank God I made it. It's good to be here.
Thank you. You look lovely. And I love the background of your
Oh,
house. That
thank
looks
you.
lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Are you looking forward to the show today?
I am. I was hoping to see Pascal. Pascal, where are you?
As Uncle Carl
I was
says,
really hoping to
Pascal,
see you tonight, you
Uncle
know?
Pascal ran away today.
Seriously speaking, please, if you can rearrange your schedule, please let us know. You have to be here,
I know.
you know.
Mm,
He ran away today.
mm.
Okay, let's see. Everyone is talking about Uncle Pascal, and Uncle Pascal, please remember we actually miss you today because I was open for you to be here today, especially with the subject. Let's bring our lovely, lovely lady. She's actually run away from us for 2 weeks now. Well, actually, 3 weeks now.
No,
Let's bring. It's
really?
2 weeks, isn't it? Or 3 weeks, Auntie Alicia.
Oh
Let's bring in
no, I'm
Auntie
sorry.
Alicia. Hi, Auntie Alicia. How are you
Hi
doing?
there. Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing quite well.
That's good. You've run away from us,
Thanks
but
for
we're happy to see you back.
happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you very
Yes.
much. And
Looking
today, are
forward
you
to it.
excited about the subject matter, the topic?
I am. Pride is fear. There's something we're hiding. So very interesting topic, and I look forward to talking through it tonight. So I'm glad to
Absolutely.
be here.
Absolutely. That's one thing I believe too. Okay, let me bring in everyone on the screen and let's see how best we can discuss about pride and relationships. Because, as I said,
Mhm.
pride is one thing that's killing our relationship, even though it's a good thing, but some of us actually covered under it, basically. And I just
Mm,
believe it's something we need to talk about because these are the things we need to talk about in our society, and sometimes we just sweep it under the carpet, just like the way we usually sweep mental health. But pride, because a lot of people that are prideful don't really realize they are, or if they do, they don't accept it. And there is a greater difference between pride and ego. So we're going to talk about that today. But one thing I actually just want to put on the floor and ask is how do one actually show pride? Because it's one thing that's, I don't know, but how do one show pride? As usual, I'm going to go with Uncle Carl first.
Why you gotta go with me?
Because
I'm
you're
just
the only
saying.
man on the screen.
You have the beautiful Alicia, the beautiful Isa, even yourself. You know what I'm saying? But you have to come to me first
Yes,
about
Uncle
how,
Carl.
you know, yeah, I think I'm gonna need a cigarette. Mm. Um, pride can be shown in many ways. It can. Like you said before, you can take pride in your children. One can take pride in their mate and the things and abilities they do. Um, the biggest metaphor that people give is they say, "My chest is poked out." You know, I got pride. I take pride. That's my son or that's my daughter. You may claim to things that are good. You can take pride in your education. Um, uh, by not letting anyone demean uh, your hard-earned education and the statue that you're in. Uh, Politicians take pride in their position of whatever they are, governors up to the president, by defending that and making announcements saying, I'm the governor or I'm the president of the United States. You don't talk to me that way. Pride can come in many forms. It really can. And they have different meanings behind them. So, how is pride shown? Basically, through attitude.
That's true. I completely, completely agree with you there, Uncle Carl. And attitude is one of the biggest thing when it comes to pride. Because sometimes we look at ourselves, but our attitude is something else. So I always tell people, attitude. People sometimes people misunderstand me when I say this word because I said the key to success. I remember, but I always say that the key to success is your attitude, which is to me is the foremost thing. Because if you don't have the right attitude, you're never gonna get to where you want to be in this life. So the key to success is always attitude to me. Because attitude is the number one key in everything we
Your
do in life.
attitude is your altitude. Your attitude is your altitude. So that's how high you
Absolutely.
will go in your life. So that's height. So yes, good
Absolutely.
statement.
Auntie Alicia, can you say that word again so that we can really hear it properly?
Yes, sure. So the saying is your attitude determines your altitude. So if we define altitude, that's high, how high you will go, right? Um, in terms of the atmosphere, moving up, elevating. So your attitude determines your altitude, how high you will go, where you will go, and what environments you will mix in, what types of people you will be around. So if you think positive, it um, uh, draws positive people, situations, opportunities. So good statement to start off with.
Thank you very much. I love what you just said. Thank you. That's actually just enlightening it for us, really, in the broader
Yes.
perspective as well. And I actually want to ask this question, and this one is going for Auntie Alisa. So, Auntie Alisa, when you write on screen right there, is it wrong for someone to be prideful? Because a lot of time people are like, "Oh, it's good for me to be prideful," but is it really wrong or is it good?
This question for me, Alicia.
Yes, darling.
Oh,
That's it for you.
so I mean, sometimes for me, when we start talking terms and how we define terms, I like to be very careful.
Mm-hmm.
I do think, we speak of pride, it could be a good thing, right? You could be prideful of your accomplishments, right? That's always wonderful. But in this um, context, we're talking about pride in a relationship being negative. And so I think it can be a problem. Um, and there's a lot that could be going on with that individual, if there's something that they are hiding or maybe something that they're afraid of. And so there's this exterior that screams pride. I don't want you to know. I don't want you to see. I want to protect, right? Or preserve my reputation, my personality, what I have, what I've worked hard for, or I'm hiding um, possibly some insecurities, or something I don't have or I don't want to share. So we could talk a lot, just right there, what, why we're prideful. And, but it could be a good or bad.
Thank you very much, Auntie Alicia. That was really a good point right there. And it's important we actually highlight those things, basically. And before I go further, let me just quickly go to Auntie Ice. Auntie Ice, let me come down to you and then we'll see how we can actually take it from there. Auntie Ice, when it comes to relationship, especially within the African content, let me say within the African community in general, right? Do you think that
Mm-hmm.
pride really ruin a relationship? That's one of the biggest thing we're gonna come talk about today. How does it really ruin a relationship? I'm
Absolutely.
gonna start with you. Hmm.
Absolutely 100%, especially when it comes to our community, the African community. I really wish Pascal was here tonight. But anyway, I know I really wish he
He bailed
was
out to run
because
away.
he
Pascal
did.
is.
Yes.
I mean, I needed him here. But anywho, it does affect relationships in our community. Like Pascal was saying last week's show, that he has to have everything in order. He has to be making more money than his wife or significant other, or he's not comfortable with that situation. He has to be the man of the house. He has to be the provider. He has to be like the leader. Everything
Mm,
else, he set up to a point for me was right, on point. But for me, I think it should be a 50-50 or a 50, you know, 60 kind of, meaning giving the man the 60. There's nothing wrong with starting from, scratch, building your relationship, building your finances, building an empire with your partner. So,
Mhm.
but it does ruin a lot of relationships because they have this ego, I'm an African man, I'm supposed to take care of my wife, I'm supposed to be the head of household, I'm supposed to be the high end earner. But sometimes it doesn't
Mhm.
work that way. And
Mhm.
so if the man is prideful and he allows his ego to get in the way, then hey, the marriage or the relationship collapse.
Mhm.
Absolutely, I believe in that too, and I love the way Auntie Ice actually comes up with this really within the African continent when it comes to relationship, because pridefulness is one of the biggest killer. It's sorry to say it, but it's true. It's one of the biggest killer when it comes to a relationship within the African
Mhm.
community, especially the West African community. And last week, I know Auntie Ice actually pulled up Uncle Pascal regarding this issue. And it's a shame that he's not here this week. But whenever he comes back, I'm definitely going to bring it up for them to settle it out live on air so we can hear the two of them. Auntie Ice, you actually said 50-50 in a relationship or
I heard
50-60
that.
in a relationship. I want you to define it properly. Is it when it comes to financial or when it comes to respect? Because it's very important because Uncle Carl is looking keenly and listening to this one.
Well,
I know
I
I want to
want
say
Uncle
something,
Carl to
but
go
I'll wait for
first.
him. Is it financial or respect in a
Financial,
relationship?
financial,
So you mean
financial.
in the financial aspect of a relationship,
In the
basically?
financial aspect, for some men, it's a big deal, but for some men, it's not a big deal as long as you're working towards the same goal. I
Okay.
mean, we live in a country where sometimes women are the high earners. So if a man is not comfortable in that situation, he's not gonna blend or bring in a woman that makes more money than he does. So I mean, look at this. Most seriously, Uncle Carl, I see you're laughing. You want to come in?
Well, I think a man is less of a man when he's concerned about a woman making more money than him in a relationship. Uh, then we go to what Alicia is saying about hiding something. That's that pride that hides. You have a insecurity about yourself when you feel like you have to be the lead in money. You are the man of the household. That's
That's
just
right.
simple. You are the
Mhm.
head. It doesn't matter if
Mhm.
your woman makes more money than you. You are the
Mhm.
head. And I don't mean a head with a big, I almost cuss, a head. I'm just talking about you are still their Gabor. You are still their warrior. You are still their protector. You are still their leader. So, for a man to have that type of insecurity and that type of pride about a woman making more than I really don't understand that because I would love the idea that my lady makes more money than I do because my responsibility is paying the house mortgage or the rent, paying the bills in that house or apartment or cardboard box.
Mhm.
My my responsibility is taking care of home, including taking out the garbage when it's time for the trash man to run. That is who I am as a leader. That is who I am as a provider. And if I'm working a job and you're making twice as much or even three times as much as me, it is still my responsibility. That's my part. As long as I take care of that, that defines me as being a leader, not a man now, because you got some people out there that do all that and they nowhere near a man. We'll talk about that another time.
That's right.
But
There you go.
that defines me as a leader. I am leading to do this. So when my wife wants to make plans to do something big, an event, or she wants some new shoes, or baby, can I get a new necklace, or I want to upgrade my ring and all that old kind of stuff. Go ahead, baby. Go ahead. Now with the ring thing, I'll be like, "Ooh, baby, you want to upgrade now? I thought that's 10 years from now." But with everything
Yeah.
else, go ahead,
Mhm.
baby, go ahead. And if you ask me for money, I'm gonna go, baby. I got the mortgage and I got this, and by the time I'm done, I barely have time to, go out and have fun for myself. You making that kind of money? I mean, I salute you. If you want to do that, go for it. You don't have to pay the rent. You don't have to pay the mortgage. You don't have to pay the bills in the house. You don't have to worry about nothing. I take all of care, all of that for you. You can do whatever you want to do with your money, and that makes it easier for me. I'm still the lead of the house. So I don't get all that. That's why I laugh.
Absolutely. I
Well, in the
agree.
Western world, it's okay, but you have to understand where our men, some of our men are coming from. For
I
some of
do.
our men in the African community, it's traditional. Like for me, I mentioned it the last time, my dad had four wives. He was the
Mhm.
only one, he was the only provider.
Mhm.
Even though my stepmoms and my mom, everybody had their own businesses, but he was a single provider. He
Mhm.
provided for the household
Mhm.
every day. He provided money for them, to be able to, do their own business. But the pride comes in when, as a man, you feel inadequate because you cannot provide for your household. And growing
Uh huh.
up, yeah, it's like all you knew growing up was your father taking care of six kids and the wife. So if you come from that kind of background, you feel inadequate.
Mm.
That's where it comes in. But that can be
Okay, so
unlearned.
how
Mm.
Go on, Uncle Carl.
Yeah.
exactly what you said that can be unlearned. What gets me, and by no means am I got to really tread very careful on this because culture is something very respectful. Culture is something very important, and I'm not by any means trying to talk down on
Mhm.
anybody's culture. The culture I'm coming from, there's a expectancy from other nations about our culture, and I don't fit that expectancy because I'm different. I carry myself as a man, not the other thing. So, what I can say is today, and I really hope that Africans can understand where I'm coming from. Today, I can say, you know what? In my household, nobody's ever going to wear flip flops, those open toe shoes, none of that. That's the way it's going to be in my house. You come in my house with and wear that, no neighbors, no nothing is coming into my house. That is my rule. The next door neighbor will say, "Yeah, I agree with that. You know what? Yeah, I like that. I don't like people coming all off in the house, the germs and bacteria, fungi, and all that falling on my carpet. Then I walk on in this stuff, wear closed toe shoes, and da 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 da." Next thing you know, it spreads, and in that household, more than anything, the kids are going to grow up and they're going to say, "You can't wear that in my house either because it wasn't done in this house." And it'll go from house to house, and all of a sudden, it will develop into what we call culture. That came from me, though. That wasn't something from the supreme being of the courts of Africa or the courts of the United States or God and all that. That was something that I felt as a, keep in mind, one particular human being that had a thought that I didn't want it. And all of a sudden, it becomes a culture later on down in generations. Culture is not something that is a mandate, it's something like she said, something that can be unlearned and a process in mind. A man feels inadequate based on what was said by his father and his father father and his father father. Times change all the time. And even in Africa, times have changed for the woman. You have more women working in Africa now than they ever did 20, 30 years ago.
Absolutely
I
true.
don't see the man, complaining when they meet a woman they want to marry and they're already working. I don't see them complaining much. I talk to a lot of them. I've been dealing with it for a long time. But as soon as the woman come into the household and they marry them, they want them to change and just stay home and take care of the baby. It don't make sense. If you can accept that woman when you met her having a job and taking care of herself and becoming independent, why would you want to change that based on what you felt is something you were raised in? So yeah, it's something that has to be unlearned, but I do believe it can happen if you get more knowledge, open up the knowledge to the people and understanding.
I purely understand where you're coming from, Uncle Carl, and that was really deep right there. Auntie Alicia, I see you laughing to what Uncle Carl was saying. What is your point of view
Yeah,
to that?
yeah, to both of the panel had some really interesting points, but I want to go back first to um
To
what's your
Isa.
name again? To Isa.
Isa.
Yeah, Isa, got it. So I think it's first that we speak of different cultures. I think if we talk about years ago, um, during my mom's time, in America, um, men made more than women. In the majority of in my family, my grandpa, he took care of my grandmother and 8 children. My grandmother really never knew how to work until they separated. She never worked. She's never drove a car in her life. She doesn't wear pants. She's never had a piercing. So and I'm from South Georgia. And so there were some cultural things that I learned um, from my family. But I think transitioning over to Kyle is it Carl?
Carl.
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 Carl is that, and I like what he said, and I'm going to say it in a different way. Change is the only constant. So I say that to say our culture determines our values, right? It determines what we value in a relationship, which is really important. So if you value a man's money and you feel that the money is most important, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, that is what you value. So determining what you value, your morals, you're going to seek for a different partner, right? And I kind of wanted to say that before going any further, right? So your culture determines your morals and your values, what you value in a partner. Um, Pushing forward, life will change. Life has changed for us. I look at the four of us sitting here, and we've all came from different environments, but there are certain things in our homes that we do different from our parents and from our parents because life has changed. Life has forced us into kind of a melting pot of people, situations. I mean, and we're kind of forced to create a life of our own. And so change is inevitable. It's the only constant I know. You're going to change. I think, but what grounds us is our values, right? Our values. What do we value? And if you're living in a society without values, if you right now don't honestly know and have values, you're lost. You're lost. And the Bible speaks of people who were like waves in the ocean. They're just all over the place. They don't have a constant. So I think our values ground us, and and with those, that is how you determine your partners. What is truly valuable to you? If it's money, hey, it's money. If it's protection, responsibility, humility, a Christian man, a man who's available, who's emotionally available, what's important to you? And I think all those things back into our culture, right? But things are going to change. It's inevitable. You're going to have to nowadays, and in the economy we're living in, you're going to have to change in terms of money and who's making money. When you look at the statistics right now, Black women are making more money and making moves that they've never made in history. They have C-suite careers, and so they're educated. They have college degrees, PhDs, and so and they're writing books. Look at look at our fearless leader. She's writing a book herself. So these are things that are happening in our community, our Black community, and it's driving a change. It's manifesting a different type of African American, and I think it's beautiful. So money, that's got to come off the table, and we got to look at other ways that our men can lead us than money, right? Because we're going to make more. I probably make more than men I've dated, and I'm sure some of you. I'm certain you, our fearless leader, has probably makes more than probably all of us. But I say that to say we've got to find other ways that our men can lead us, because they may not be able to lead us with their pockets, but just like Carl said, they can lead us by being providers and being protectors and being knowledgeable and having a vision for us. We need vision. That is what a woman needs. I think psychologically more than anything. And I'm gonna get off my soapbox, but I'm done.
Thank you very much, Alicia. I really appreciate what you just said, and that was a very good point to me, basically.
Mm,
Because reason being, there are a lot of things that people don't really think about when it comes to relationship and pride. And I love the fact that you came up with value, because we don't
yes.
value ourselves. We just don't nowadays in every
Hmm.
aspect of life, basically. The way we live our life, the way we actually interact with other people, especially in
Hmm.
terms of relationship, we don't really have
Yes.
this core value for ourselves. And I love the
Yes.
way you actually came out with it, to especially with our men and the cultural aspect of it, and
Hmm.
also with our men. I just want to buttress into it and say we have to learn how the men needs to value their women as well, because
Yes.
it's
Yeah, they
very
do.
important, because men don't value us nowadays. It's crazy. I don't know
Woo.
if it's because of the way the sisters have actually portrayed themselves in life, because it might not be true, that's what I'm saying, but at the same time, our men, especially our brothers, sometimes they have no value for us. We see it all the time, from on the news, on social media, and everywhere else. So we have to learn, our women, we have to learn how to value ourselves and get the men to value us as well. I
Yes,
just
we're
want to point
fighting.
out that it's,
There's
it's
a there's a there's a cosmic collide between Mars and Venus right now, right? So
absolutely.
women are from Mars, men are from Venus. Men are from
Have you
Mars.
read that book? That's a good book to
So
read.
there's a collide, right, in society right now, and it's so crazy. But you're right.
Absolutely. And the other thing that you actually spoke about as well is the marriage. That's I know Uncle Carl actually said something about it earlier on. The marriage between the gap of what society used to be and what we
Yes.
are right now, especially as a woman. I know Uncle Carl has been battering me all day today with this talk show, saying I'm gonna twist it around for all the
Yeah.
women.
So
But at
see,
the
it wasn't
same
so
Yeah.
time,
bad. It wasn't bad.
it
It's not
wasn't,
bad.
but the gap between
No,
the
I
male
mean,
and the women now, we're doing so well. Thinking about where we came from,
Yeah.
we've come from a very long way in society, and now women are actually working to provide for their
Yes.
family, especially the single parents out there. They're working, they're
Mhm.
providing for their family, providing, sometimes even being a pillar of support for their husbands out there. and
Yes.
and and sometimes I like the way Auntie Ice actually said it. She said the women are actually the provider most of the time now.
Yeah.
When
They
50,
are.
60, they can actually, like, help the men out. Because I remember
Mhm.
Uncle Carl last week said, oh, the women not supposed to actually help out. I'm supposed to foot all the bills. Oh yes, we love it.
who said
Women
that?
love a man that fit.
You
Yeah,
see?
that's what she said. Women love a man that fits all the
Who?
bills.
Who?
But
Wait,
at
wait,
the
wait, wait.
same time,
Freeze. Are you meaning Uncle Pascal said that?
Uncle
Pascal.
Pascal, not Uncle
Uncle
Carl, Uncle
It's
Pascal.
Uncle
Pascal.
Carl
No,
don't have no
no,
problem with that,
no.
man. Don't mix me
Hold
up.
up,
Hey,
hold up. It wasn't me.
Uncle Pascal said that. Uncle Pascal actually said last week, I wish he was here today. Uncle Pascal said last week that he wants a relationship whereby he is 100. I know that's the African man mentality, don't get me wrong. African man wants to foot the bill 100%. They wants to be the head of the household, which is how it's supposed to be from the biblical time. And they actually foot the bills, pay the bills, take care of the woman, treat the wife like princesses, which is how it's supposed to be, but that's not the way it's done nowadays. And they
Mm-mm.
actually look after everything from financial to moral support to every single thing. But one thing I just want to remind them, times have changed. We don't
Mm-hmm.
live in the society. Yes, Uncle Carl, 1 second, please. I'll just finish with this point and I'll come down to you. Times have changed. We do not live in a society anymore whereby the women used to sit at home and don't work, just actually look after the kids. Nowadays, in the society where we live, the women actually work. And if we're working, we're making our own money, we're doing our businesses, and we're actually growing in society. Because if you look right now, even the vice president of America, she's a female. Think about it. We're not
Yeah,
talking about the Magna
I
Charta
know.
days no more.
I'm
Let's think
telling
about
you.
Magna Charta days in England. But
I'm
now the
telling you.
vice president of America, she's a female. And
Yeah.
female is actually transcends to a different level in life. So we're coming out there, as I said, I'm working on my book. Different female are writing good book. Look at Michelle Obama. You know, those are the females
Yep.
that people look up to when you think
Yep.
about it. So female has actually come from generation to generation and moved to a different level. So we've had pride in ourselves that we've actually achieved something in life. So
I
I
got.
just
I
believe the men have to treat us the same way and allow us to help out with the bills just the way we want to in some aspects. Not, I see the way Auntie Ice is saying, but Auntie Ice, I'm cutting you there. You said 50 to 60% of the bill the woman
said
have
50.
to,
I
the
know.
man have to
Of
pay.
course,
40,
of
60.
course, of course, but bringing us back to the center, what we're talking about really, how pride ruins a relationship or a marriage. Remember last week's topic was about
Long,
engagements, and I
yes.
did bring up the fact that I believe 12 to 18 months, and that's for the couple to figure it to like make plans for the wedding and iron out the details of the marriage. For the man to come up with a mission statement for the family, say, this is the
Mm.
vision I have for the family. This is how we're going to raise our kids. This is what I see for us in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So a man does not marry a high income earner if he does not agree with it.
True.
Now, things might change during the relationship, and that's where pride kicks in. But during the engagement period, you already know she's making more money than you are.
Mm-hmm.
You already know what you're in for. You already know, again, like I tell people, you don't have to give to me what I give to you.
Mm-hmm.
You give what you can. Like Uncle Carl was saying, his responsibility is to pay the mortgage, to make sure all the bills are paid, regardless of how much the wife makes. His responsibility is to take out the garbage and make sure the family as a whole is well and happy. So it doesn't matter to him how much his wife makes because he knows his role in the marriage and the relationship. Now, I'm assuming he's married to a good woman and they have a joint account and separate accounts for each, for their own private, bills or whatever.
Hey, I knew
Now, for
Alicia was gonna
me,
laugh at that one.
Woo. She
well,
has
for
this wonderful, just amazing, wonderful, all laid out. I love it. And she's serious about it. Keep
I'm
going.
Right,
serious
right,
about it,
yeah,
and it's
yes.
the way I know how. It's the way
I
I know
love
how.
it.
I don't care. It's the way I know how. I don't care if I make more than my husband. At the end
Yes.
of the month, I know everything I make goes into an account because I'm trusting my husband and his mission statement for the family to do the right thing. I
Yes.
believe we're going to come to the table. We are going to make sure we break out evenly because it's a partnership. And I don't want him to feel less than. I don't care who
I
makes
agree.
more.
Absolutely.
I agree. Hmm.
I agree with
I
that.
agree.
I 100%
I
agree with
want
you
to.
there. Uncle Carl,
I
let's
want.
listen to you, to your point of view.
I want. I want to say this because this is where African men that I've talked to, and man, have I talked to Nigerian, Liberian,
Mm.
and Liberian men are. Oof, they say Nigerian, but Liberians they got some. They're quiet, but boy, uh, I've talked to Ugandan, I've talked to Congolian, I've talked to a lot of my African brothers.
Mm.
Nigerian is still up on the list as number one in this subject. Here's the issue. Okay, the Nigerian men fear the woman making more money because he fears that the woman is going to take off and do what she wants to do when he say no. What you mean? I make this, I earn this, I can do what I want to do. Okay. Uh, that still falls under pride, my Nigerian men. Here's the thing, it's not about what you say that has a woman humble herself before you, it's about what you do. I will say that again to you, my Nigerian men, and to my American African men. It's not what you say that makes you the man of the household. You can give command after command after command.
Mm-hmm.
That does not make you the man. What you do is what makes you the man. Yelling, screaming, raising your voice, flexing over her, and all that doesn't make you the man of the household. Humble, quiet tone gets you everywhere. Okay? A woman can make more money than you, and you can
Right.
actually get that woman to do the things that you want to direct and do if you have a leadership about you that is the spirit and the essence of a server. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot be a king without being a servant. It just don't mix. If she sees
Mm.
that you as the man is willing to go down and go the rough route, she sees that you are willing to rise high when the time comes and do. She sees that you are willing to get your hands dirty. You don't do anything that you won't say or request anything that you yourself would not do. That woman will be there for you. She
Yes.
would.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A woman don't want you giving commands and things and you are being a double standard type person. You want to say no, we're going to put and as Alicia said, finance is not the thing that makes the lead anymore. Something else got to take place, and I 100% agree to that because the man don't lead by money. You can lead your household and never make a dime in it. You can live in the woods killing rabbits and coons and still be the leader of the house. You ain't making money that way. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if there comes a time where the woman says, "Hey," and she's making more than you by all means, I want to get me a Lamborghini, and you go, I don't think that's good to do right now. You know, we have a 3 year old, a 4 year old, but we have a third car. I mean, we have two cars. We have a SUV and we have this, and I think I want a Lamborghini. Your concern is her getting in that Lamborghini because you know that even when she's in that Pinto or that Volkswagen Bug, she's doing 85 in a 55 miles per hour zone. And you know that if she gets that Lamborghini,
Mm.
she's gonna fly.
Mm.
We've been talking to this about that all the time. Baby, slow down. I know how to drive. Don't tell me how to drive. I'm tell you how you drive. When I drive, da da da, and you be on the cell phone talking while you're driving and all that. Girl, hold on. I'm gonna take a picture, and you're doing all that. And this is what he sees. So the disagreement with the man, he'll say, "No, we're not getting no Lamborghini. That's out the question."
Mm.
The way he said it, because he wants to be the head, is what makes the and creates the problem for the woman to go, this is my check, my money.
Yeah.
The pride. How did you say that, Alicia? Please forgive me. Uh,
Yeah.
you said something about the pride. Your say that again, please.
Yes. Your
In the beginning,
attitude determines your altitude.
right? That is that situation in a lot of things, not just
Hmm.
car decisions. It could be the
Yeah.
decision about what school your kids are going to go into, what kind of school, how you want to raise your kids, what disciplinary actions to take with the kids. All of
Yes.
that makes a difference. The
Yes.
man is afraid to open up and say what he really feels, and that's the
Hmm.
pride. Tell that woman what you really think. Baby, I'm concerned about you. If you
Hmm.
go and get a car, you driving like crazy in a Volkswagen Bug, you already doing 85 in the 55, baby. She gonna laugh a little bit, but baby, you already doing that.
No.
And if you get that Lamborghini, I'm really gonna be hurt, and our kids are gonna be hurt if you happen to have an accident. just because you happen to be talking to a friend and you want to do a quick text. It happens
Mhm.
all the time. I would love for you to get a Lamborghini. That would be nice. I think you'll look good in it. But you're not ready to drive that because you're not disciplined enough at this point. Now, if you can discipline yourself and drive and show me you can drive that bug, show me you can drive that Pinto and do the speed limit, then yes, we can get a Lamborghini. But right now, I'm really concerned. I don't want to lose you, babe.
Mhm.
Any woman on the panel finds something wrong with that leadership right there?
No, absolutely not. Because if a man is leading correctly, even an alpha female will submit. So you're right, 100%.
Mhm.
I want
Mhm.
to ask that question to the alpha female Alicia. I see that alpha in her. Is there a problem with that
I'm
type of
really,
leadership? Would you have a concern with that?
I'm really not an alpha female. I'm really not.
You're not
So,
what?
so this is what I told my mom the other day. I told her, I don't categorize me as a strong woman or an alpha woman. I think society has really put us in a position, and I'm going back to what Francis was saying earlier, how, and I kind of commented, there is a cosmic collide. You
Hmm.
know, society has kind of said, okay, now that you're strong, right, and you're independent, you really don't need any help. You're okay, right? They've also said that you're strong, you're possibly difficult because you have all of these requirements. So it makes it difficult for a man to relate. On the other hand, when we talk about a man and how they're colliding with women, that because that's one way. But with the woman, if I feel that okay, I don't need him, I make my own money. I can do my own thing. He doesn't make enough. What does that do subconsciously? That creates, a, difficulties in how I relate to him. So I think we're colliding because society is saying that we really don't need each other. We really don't need to be a pair. And I'm
Mhm.
fighting a fight right now with society and saying we have to go back and correct that because not only African Americans, but minorities in a whole, we need pairs. We need to be
Yeah.
together. The Bible speak of pairs. That is the only way we're gonna. That's the only way we're gonna win in this fight. When we talk about the economy, we talk about living life, being prosperous. We have to learn how to relate and be a couple. So being strong, independent, and alpha, that is not me. I don't. I hope I don't come across that way. But for me, I really want us to get back to working together and trying to learn how to relate. I know, and I don't want to go back into history and what happened with the black man and woman in the household and how this whole thing changed in America. Because back in the day, you would never have seen a lot of things that are going on now in terms of women being single. There's way too many black women single. And so I don't want to talk about that. But to what you were just saying, I totally agree in terms of you asked us, oh, would this be a good, man? Would you prefer that? Would that be good? I think it would be great, but in reality, does every man think that way? They don't. Every man doesn't think that way. That's why we have an issue with pride and control and abuse because they don't think that way. And I had an analogy I wanted to share before I lose my thought. We were talking about, going back to center, like Isa said. We want to talk about, pride and what does it mean and how does it change the dynamics of a relationship? How does the relationship go from good to bad? When we talk about money, whether it's in the Western hemisphere or the Western world, America, wherever we're talking about. For me, I look at it as good money, bad money. Okay. I see millionaires who wives stay at home and they worship the ground they walk on. The women sit at home, they are treated with respect. I mean, they have. I mean, you look at the Beverly Hills Housewives. Okay, Erica. She just got a. She's her and her husband are going through a court battle. She lived the life of a queen, and she speaks of it. I just use her as an analogy, but that's one lady. That's one way of where your money is good in terms of taking care of a woman. But if you're using your money in a bad way to control me and mistreat me, which now we're talking about abuse, neglect, abandonment, all these things, you're isolating me, all these things that are bad in terms of treating me. If that's what your money is going to do to me, then there needs to be another discussion, right? So if the money is good, that's okay. But in our context today, we're talking about how the money is used to control. Why are you controlling me with your money? Why are you so prideful? What's going on? Why are you mistreating me? And what the pride does is at that point you're probably mistreating that woman, right? So she's going to either submit, she's going to leave you, or she's going to fight you, right? Fight. So I mean, how is your money leading? Are you is it good money? Is it bad money? If you're using it to control me, to abuse me and mislead me, now I got to fight. Or I got to leave you. Now it's a problem. That's how it becomes a problem in a relationship. The pride, the control, the abuse. So I want us to push it forward, because that is where that pride can be a problem, because now it's turning into the woman having to fight you, leave you, or submit,
Or submit.
right? And so but I've seen on the other hand, with that same money, private jet money, lay out the red carpet. She don't even care about seeing her husband, because you know why? She has private jets, she has bank accounts, she has diamonds, she has millions of dollars, and she goes across the country with her friends. She's living a life.
Now, on the same token, I know this is the woman's show.
It's not a
However, there
woman
are
show.
women that
It's
do
it's
it.
it's
No,
women's turn
I'm
and
talking about
men's point
tonight.
of
Three
view.
women against one
Yeah,
man.
like
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
let's
Uncle Carl.
I'm talking about tonight.
let's get on
Tonight,
in
three
now. Let's
women,
get
one
deep
man.
in now. Let's get deep.
But
Let's get deep.
that same thing happens when a woman has more money than the man too. Now, I've spoken the part about how a man should be less prideful about that. But here's that
Mhm.
part where African men fear. Pascal, who ran away from tonight, fear that
I'm sure he has a good point.
you have those women who would use money as a leverage against a man. Okay, who would take that money and abuse the man
Yeah.
to get power as the head of household. You have women out there right now filing as head of the household because they make more money than the man. Okay,
Yeah.
and their pride is causing issues in the marriage too. So just to let you know, there are reversal standards of a woman's pride causing problems because of several things in a household as well. So my
Hmm.
question to you right now, to all three, how do we handle that aspect and make a man feel? How should a man feel, or what should a man do in that circumstance when a woman does make money and you're already married? And she begins to make more money, and that money gets to the head, and she does that. Then what? From a woman's point of
Go
view,
first,
what do you think
Francis.
of
I'm gonna laugh.
I see,
that?
I see the
I
way
said, let I
Alicia, I see
I'm
the way
calling.
Alicia threw me under the bus first.
Go
She's
ahead.
like, go
Go ahead.
first,
Then
Francis.
I said, I want to hear y'all perspective. I'm fall back on
You
it.
want to hear
Go
my
ahead.
take on it?
You can go first.
Here, Aisha take on it first before I go.
Yeah.
Go on, Aisha.
Are you sure, Francis? You
Yes,
don't
we
want to go?
sure.
Okay, let me say it this way. What happens in a relationship most of the time is when a man loses his job.
Mm.
If he has a job and his wife makes more money than him, that's not a problem. Everything is honky dory. But when a man loses his job in a marriage or in a relationship, his pride kicks in. I don't care how you love him. I don't care how much respect you have for him. I don't care how much you try to convince him that everything is fine. You still see him the way you saw him when he was making money. They never take it, they never believe it.
Mm-hmm.
It's an ego thing. It's hard,
It
it's
is.
difficult. I may not understand it all, but when a partner loses their job and your wife, then you become like Mr. Mom, the stay at home mom. It rubs them the wrong way.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say all that I want to say. Frances, you take over. I want to hear what
Yeah.
you want to
I
say.
like that. I like that, and that example. That was good.
That was really, really
Well,
good.
that's a
That
Yeah.
nice
was good.
example, but that's not what I was asking.
I
That's
know
What were you
she
basically
didn't.
a
asking?
man losing his job.
She
Mm-hmm.
didn't
We're talking
answer.
about women who actually doesn't
It's
Uh
require a
huh.
man to lose their job. I'm talking. Don't base the scenario off the man and what happens with him. We're talking
Okay.
about women who actually has this in them and are prideful, just as prideful as the man, and does this thing. What about that?
well, the
Does
way
what?
I'll gone anti ice.
Does what thing? Like disrespect their husband or look at them less of a
Reverse,
man? What does
reverse,
what
Reverse
thing?
psychology.
re- reverse
Oh,
the role
Yeah,
on
reverse the
everything
role.
we just
So
talked
basically,
about.
I understand where Uncle Carl is coming from and what he's saying. Uncle Carl is trying to say, he's asking the question, what do we think about women, if I'm wrong, that actually does the role, that play like the alpha female in the house, basically, the way you try to brand people sometimes, which you brand me several times. The women, I understand where you're coming from. But one thing I just want to say is this: when a man is in control of a home, of their home, I don't believe any female will actually look down upon that man. Because majority
Mm,
of the men, I'm just saying from a woman's point of view, just my own take on it, Uncle Carl.
Yes.
Majority
all
of the
right.
time, the men actually think, oh, because this we have it in our community a lot. I'll lift my hand up and say, especially in the Sierra Leonean community, we have it a lot. When a woman is a nurse or have a very good creative job, a job that brings income inside the community, in the home, the men usually say, oh, because of the thing they earn more money, that is why they disrespected me. That is why they don't respect me
Mhm.
in public or anything else. But the one thing that the men don't actually look at, when you guys got married, the women used to respect you. They adores everything you do. They don't look at what they've done, how they've created the whole environment for the woman to actually
Right.
feel disrespect in the house. Because whatever energy you give to me, that's the energy I'm gonna throw back at you. That is as simple as that for women. If you give me positive energy, I'll bring positive energy back to you. But if you come home and you have this thought, I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I said to this, my friend, I'm like, listen, I'm like, if you think negatively about someone you're going out with, that negative thought actually transferred to that person without you aware of it. Because if you come home and already you've established in your head that this woman is making more money out from me and more than me, this is the reason why she's not respecting me. This is the reason why she goes out and don't really do things in the house. This is the reason why she thinks, oh, she can spend money all the way she wants it to be. But the one
Well,
thing that's
yeah.
yeah, but the one thing that the men are not realizing, you've already set that boundary for that woman. You've already set up the tone for that woman to behave in that manner. Maybe the woman is not behaving that way because they think, oh, they've actually got financially strong. No. Because I've seen a reason whereby
Wait.
someone,
Stop making it seem like the
I'm
woman
not
is just
making it
so
seem that
innocent
way,
all the
Uncle
time.
Carl.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
I'm
think
just
I
saying
think
the
you're
I
putting it,
think
reality. I'm saying
you're
the
putting it
facts.
I
in
What
an
is going on?
innocent way. I
Possibly
can
the
I
tell
man
think
you
have
me and
three
my
cheated.
scenarios. I can tell you three
yeah.
Uncle Carl,
scenarios
let
of
me
real
finish,
life
please.
situations.
Let me finish my own
Okay.
point, then you'll come to yours.
All right.
Possibly that man have
All right.
actually been cheating on that woman during the time that,
Uh-oh.
that woman was
Ha!
down.
See what I'm saying?
Possibly, I'm just saying
There
my
you
own
that's
go.
point of
another
There
view.
we
thing.
go.
Possibly that woman, that man has been misusing money.
No,
Using
this is
it,
why
I'm
I was
just
trying to
saying, Uncle
stop you
Carl, it's
right
just
there.
something
I
I'm
You're
just
what
making it
saying.
he
seem
I
as
think
if
what
the
he's trying to
man
say,
has to do something for that woman to turn that way.
right.
No,
I,
No, we're
right.
not
I
talking about
I
that.
got what
We're
you're
talking
saying.
about
I
a
got what you're saying.
scenario,
Right. And I can explain it for you
Francis.
because I knew exact. I went around the corner. I went around waiting on them to respond to you, Carl.
Go on,
But
Auntie Alicia, because he said that's
what
not what
Carl
he's thinking. But
what Carl is saying is what when the tables turn, right? And the woman, we were married. I was making the money. I was on top. You were respecting me. We had no problems in our home. But all of a sudden, he fell off the pedestal. He lost his
okay,
job. He doesn't have money anymore. And her attitude has changed towards him. She's disrespectful. She's very difficult to deal with. She's isolating herself from him. There's probably no sex. It's probably all kind of stuff going on. If that happens, what should a man do? How does a man, right? Because we were just saying, okay, if it's not about the money and I lost my job and I can't contribute to the household like I used to, now you've changed in how you treat me. So how should a man, or how can we help a man, to pull things back together and get that woman's attention again? She need to start back respecting him again, giving him the confidence again. It was gone when he lost his job, right? So
Okay,
how
I
how
appreciate
do
it.
we help him?
so how would you
I
actually answer
appreciate
that,
that.
Alicia? Since you understood it very well, how would you actually
Was
answer
that
to
it?
that?
Was that what you were saying, Carl?
No, ma'am. I appreciate it
Okay,
though.
I
That's
think I
awesome.
Okay.
It's still putting a scenario to where the man has to have done something for the scenario to change. Here, let me give you my three. I can't name
Okay.
names, but I got three situations, and I'm only with one. A situation where a man is working, he has a great job. Matter of fact, the man is actually an executive, doing great. The woman always had a dream to become a singer. Okay, she wanted to do it. He supports the idea. You want to do that. Now, all of a sudden, she gets this big break. Okay, and she's singing and is doing great. However, her manager, the producers, want her to now lose some of the clothing, show some cleavage, put on these panties, this, and do video shoots and do this and do that. Okay.
Right, right.
The husband go, baby, no, mm-mm. No, 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 no. You're not finna show your breast and your panties, your booty hanging out, and you showing all. No, baby, you knew I wanted to become a singer. What does that got to do with singing? You can sing a song and sound pretty on everything. You don't have to do that. Well, they won't let me
Mhm.
do this and shoot the video with any other way. So if I don't, I'm gonna lose what I have, and I'm making some good money. You just mad because I'm making all this money. I ain't got nothing to do with all the money. It's just the moral principle of you going around showing the goody goody like that. Sex isn't. You don't need to sell sex in order to do this. Well, I'm gonna do what I want to do anyway. And she goes off. Now she's beginning to make all this money. Problems are occurring in the house. He's trying to tell her he doesn't like what's going on. You're gone now for this long and you don't even come back. You're partying. They're giving you all this stuff to keep you awake, if you know what I'm talking about.
hmm
Knowing the entertainment business. Okay. Now things are changing. She won't come down anymore. Her pride is out there in what she does and what she's making. That's the scenario.
Okay, I understand it now.
That
I understand
happens.
it,
That
but I'm
happens
use
out there.
pride, but it's not pride.
That's not pride.
That's
That's not
yeah,
pride,
that's not pride.
exactly. That's not pride. That's just a
Why wouldn't
woman's
you consider that
changing.
pride?
They're changing to actually suit themselves with the career path they want to
Right. That
take.
wouldn't be pride.
It's not pride.
How would you not
That
consider that
happens.
pride?
It's not pride
If
because
a
that only happens when a woman stops listening to her husband
Yeah,
and listening to all the people that are buttering her up.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it
Mm-hmm.
gets to her head and she starts feeling too good or like I'm better than you or I can conquer the world.
That's where pride
Mm-hmm.
comes in. Mm-hmm.
That's where pride comes in.
that's
Granted, there are
that's
some
yeah.
women, granted, there are some women who have a nasty and bad attitude.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They are mean and rude and put their husbands down just because they make more money. And the
Yes.
man begins to lose his self esteem. There are women who do
Mhm.
that, just like
Mhm.
men do that. There are men who
Yeah.
make millions of dollars, but the woman does not even have access to it. They're controlled by the
Mm.
money, like Alicia was saying.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
the woman begins to feel more powerful. Like, oh my goodness, I can do it. You can go, I can get another one. Because she stopped
Mhm.
listening to her husband. She forgot what they had. She's out of the house more. She's seeing everything fame has gotten into her head. So that's a different
Mhm.
scenario.
So
And
this,
her
That's
pride has
different.
so
taken
okay,
over.
That's
so
different. Yeah.
even if it's not pride, it develops into pride. But this is that part where African cultured men are afraid of, because like I mean
Yes.
that
Yes.
there is a very famous female who became a singer, was married to a man who had a great job, and she took off and they end up getting divorced. And if you know what I'm talking about, okay. If not, then I'm not going to mention the name of
Yeah.
that.
Don't.
Okay, but I know them personally. Okay, so it's in the other
But
and then here in America with people I know, it does that. So the thing is, pride on both sides. We are the scenario of things taking over that develops into pride. How do we mellow out the pride in that relationship? We talked about it, and I think that is something that we should continue to talk about on the next show.
Yeah. Next show, will, yeah.
yeah.
But right now we
We
need right now we
we are
need
right now
Francis
about
to
to
take
say we're
over.
actually about to finish
That's
right now.
right.
But before we finish, I
Yeah.
actually want us to answer your question because I think it's very
Okay.
important because now we've understood it. And I really want us to answer that question before we finish from the three ladies sitting here, including myself. So when it
Okay.
comes to women and relationship and making more money more than the man, to me, I just believe there have to be a balance and they have to be understanding in the relationship from the on-go. So if a woman respects their man from the beginning of the relationship, as Auntie Ice actually rightfully said in the beginning, there's always 50-60 in a relationship. And she came back and corrected us and said the men have to have 60% as something. That is from the African perspective, basically. The man always have to be the top and the head of the household. But I just believe there are some nasty women out there. As I said earlier on to the Uncle Carl, I was telling you over the phone, there are some nasty women out there. And
Mhm.
there are also some nasty men out there. And there are
Yeah.
some women, when you look them from the outside appearances, they look so
Mhm.
pretty, they look so good, they look like, oh, this I really want them in a relationship. They
Yeah.
dress like Barbies and do the eyelashes coming up the eyes. But when you really knows them from internally, then you get to find out that they're really nasty people. And I'm
Yep.
talking from a woman's perspective because I've actually seen a couple of them recently, basically. And the way they treat their husbands at home, it really, really saddens me. Some people
Yeah.
even have affairs with different people just because they think they're in control, because they think they've got
Mhm.
money at that moment. And some of the women even don't respect their husband in public. Forget what they're
Yes.
doing to them privately. But when it comes to public, publicly in possibly they're saying nasty things about their husbands to friends. Because this is one thing I have to tell women: when you have your own partner, you have your husband, and all the time you're saying negative things about your husband to your friends or your family, believe you me,
Yeah.
it's taking in the mindsets of your friends and your family. So for every time they see your husband out there, they're looking at that man as if he's worthless. They're looking at him in a different perspective from what because of what you've portrayed to them. So we have to remember, especially us ladies, the married women. I'm not talking about us the single ones now. I'm talking about the married women out there. When you're in a relationship, you're married or you're in a committed relationship, no matter what the situation is, you have to cover your husband. If even that man is suffering financially, it's your responsibility to actually cover that man up. That is why when you get married or you're in a serious relationship with someone, it's a two bond that come together. So if one person fell short, the other person is there to raise the other person's up. So if you out there disrespecting your man, you're out there saying negative things about your man to your friends, what eye do you expect those people to look at your man when you're in peace with that man? It's just a question I'm asking. What eye do you expect other people to look at your partner when you're in peace
Mhm.
with that person after you've said all those negative words about your man to your friends and family? If every single day you get out there nagging about your man, telling your mom, oh, my man is not a good man. Oh, I saw him with this man. Oh, that man is a deadbeat. That is the word I've actually come to learn in America. That man is a deadbeat. They don't even look after nothing. But when that man becomes someone tomorrow, do you think they're going to give him the same respect? No. And for us women out there who think, oh, because we're making more money, like Uncle Carl said, more than our men out there, that is one of the reasons we're not respecting them. We don't really cook in the house no more. We don't do our duty as a woman no more. We don't even do anything in the house just because we think, oh, you go to work, I come to work, I make my money more than you anyway. The one word I'm just gonna say to you guys, stop it. Think about the situation where you were when you got married to that person. Think about the reason why in the first place you married that man. Because there was always a reason when you meet that person, the very first day you met that person, you didn't just look at them like, oh, I just want to marry you because I just want to misuse you, or I just want to maltreat you, or I just want to talk negative things about you. You met that person because that man actually had something in them, some kind of potential in them. That is why you're with them. But if God has blessed you in some certain amount of way and you've actually become financially independent and financially strong, it's your responsibility to lift up that man as well. So don't disrespect. So, and for the men, sometimes this is where I'm answering Uncle Carl's question now before I passed it to the other ladies. Sometimes the men actually laid the platform for the women to do whatever they're doing. Because if I actually bring money home and I'm making a lot of money, enough money, I was trying to get to that point earlier on today. If I'm making more money than you at home, but then I see that you're not really doing anything whatsoever to progress your life or to take your life to a different level, that was not what I actually fell in love with. That was not what I married in the first place. So for a man, for a woman to be making more money more than a man is not bad. But when a man is not actually showing any signs of responsibility in the house, doesn't want to work, just depend on the woman's money, is not really financial capable in any single ramification of the way, the woman actually loses hope. And when a woman loses hope, I always tell people this, when a woman loses hope in a relationship and a communication level breaks down, because when a woman is making more money than a man, they feel empowered, like, oh, I've got my own money. It's as simple as that. But when a man is not trying to like do anything to match up with that woman in any shape or form, maybe not even trying to find a job, maybe they're jobless and they're just sitting there. Because I know some men, trust me, I've got a wedding shop. I listen to people's story every day. Every single day when I go out there, people come in with their stories. And there's certain men that just don't want to work. There's certain men that just don't want to support their woman. They're always complaining and bringing down that woman just because they think that woman is making more
Stop
money.
calling them men, number one. They're not men.
Well, I'm
No,
just
they're not.
saying.
Boys.
So there
Yeah.
are certain men that are like that. So the best thing I will
Yeah.
say, the man needs to be supportive to the women. The man needs to look from the woman's point of view as well and actually work with the woman and communicate what they think. Because when communication breaks down in every relationship, that is Uncle Pascal word, communication, communication, and I always agree with him. Once
Right.
communication breaks down in a relationship, finances, romance, everything is gone. So that is where I'm leaving it right now. I'll
I'm
pass it up to the
interested in
next lady that want to pick it up.
that. You know, I am super realistic. Okay. And a lot of things, they just sound amazing. It just sounds wonderful. If we could all do this and we could sing Kumbaya, it'd be great. But that's not what's happening in our homes, right? It's a lot of dysfunction. There's a lot of miscommunication. We do not do a good job at relating. So
Mm.
for me, the big problem is learning how to relate, learning how to relate to the opposite sex, whether it's a man or a woman. For me, my foundation is values. What do you value? Do we value the same things? right? Because if we don't value the same things, or you don't have the values that I think are important for me to be led, there's not going to be an attraction. That's just for
Hmm.
me. So I think a woman is very important. I think, and this is just me, I don't want to piss anybody off, but a woman chooses, a man chases. The man chase, the woman choose. That's just me.
That's right.
This
Hmm.
is our
That's just
world.
that's the way it's supposed to be.
Okay?
That's the way it
Exactly.
is.
So that's the way it
Yeah.
is.
Now,
So go
please
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead. No, no, no. Go ahead.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
no. Let
Go ahead.
Alicia finish. Alicia,
Finish.
finish your points, please,
Yeah.
darling.
Yeah.
So because of that, if I'm when I'm selecting my mate, I have a list of values, and I'm checking them off when I'm dating, right? Because and I'm gonna try to speed up on what I'm trying to get across here. But if I'm looking at my values and I'm talking to this man, okay, we're checking off. We're checking off. He meets my non-negotiables. We're good. I have five. I have five non-negotiables. You don't meet them, it ain't no it doesn't go any further. But I had to learn how to set boundaries, how to relate, how to build values, all these things so I can get the right mate. A lot of times when we're in situationships, uh, girlfriend, boyfriend, we shacking, doing all this kind of stuff. You don't even know this person. So there are going to be problems because you do not value the same things they value. You come from different cultures. Oh, but we gonna shack and we gonna share bills and we gonna do, and it ends. They always end. They're gonna end. They don't last. If you marry, it's not gonna last. You're gonna get a divorce because you want to why it goes back to the foundation, your values. And if we don't value the same thing, then we're gonna hold each other together just long enough to jump the broom. Once we
That's
jump
right.
the broom, everything falls apart. Okay. So I want us to be real when we talk about values, attractions, chemistries, all that stuff is important. It never has been, it's always been important. We cannot forget about that. If you're not the kind of man I want, if you don't look a certain kind of way to a man, I don't care. It won't last. He will take your money, he will have sex with you, and he will leave you.
Yeah, it's
You're in
true.
a situationship. You're going to have problems. So when we really talk about the real stuff that really matters before we even get to, pride and all this and not understanding each other. Now, do we value the same things? Can this man truly, does he have a vision for me? The vision that he has, is that what I want for my life? If it's not, why am I wasting my time? We're too old. When you hit 40, I don't have time to date for 6 months and a year and shack. I'm not doing that. I have my
Exactly.
values. I have my vision. I know what I want. It has nothing to do with money, period. Because I have money. So it has nothing to do with money. It has to do with the values. Are you a provider? Can you protect me? Are you humble? Are you a Christian? Are you confident? Are you available? Are you emotionally healthy? If some of those things aren't there, I'm out. We ain't even, we won't have any problems because we won't even get that far. And that I can sum that up in 2, 3 months, and I'm on to the next. And we haven't had sex. I haven't none of that. So I think when we learn how to relate, relating means understanding your values when you start communicating and dating and courting. We won't even get to the pride and fussing and fighting, abuse and out mistreatment, wasting time and money. I just try to keep it real and just, I'm not interested. I,
Thank you,
I think
Auntie
that's what it all
Alicia.
goes back to. So I'm done with I'm off my soapbox. But
Thank you, Auntie Alicia. I love that. That is keeping it real, real, real. That's proper real. Auntie Isa, let's listen to your point of view.
Well, we're running out of time,
Yes, we are.
and I will
Yeah.
just say, like, choose your partners wisely.
yes,
Like Alicia said, choose your partner wisely. Make sure you guys are on the same wavelength. Make sure you guys have the same values, and you have the same goals for your future.
yes,
With all of those boxes checked, you ain't gonna
yeah,
have any problem.
None.
Even
Zero
if you lose your
issues.
job or he loses his job, you're going to be
That's
just
right.
fine.
You be
So
fine.
choose your partner wisely.
Wisely. It's true. I love what
Yes.
Auntie Alicia said, and I love what Auntie Isa said. That's fantastic. But just before we go, let me just read some of the comments right there. I'll just read some of the comments, and I've got Auntie Rita. Oh, Auntie Rita. Hi, Auntie Rita. How are you doing? Auntie Rita said, "Money changes people," and which is absolutely true. Money does
Mhm.
change people. And then Ike actually said yes, because it's not the man or the woman who will leave the marriage. Remember, marriage is for life. I love what Ike said right now. Marriage is for life. And Sule actually said, single us now. And when you're gonna be married again, Sule, listen, I am single and I'm not ready to get married yet till I find the right person. I'm not rushing either. I want to be sure. Yes, not yet. I'm not going to be married right now soon till I'm 100% certain. Sorry to disappoint you. And then I've got Anel. Anel just joined in, and Anel said, beginning to see why it's hard to find another woman.
An older, he said an older woman, an
An
older woman.
older.
Oh,
I
older
don't know what you
woman.
mean by an
Okay,
older
beginning
woman.
to see why it's hard to find an older woman. Okay, yes, an older
I
woman.
don't know what he means by an
And
older
Auntie
woman.
said, not true. Isa said,
No,
Anel,
it's not
I'm
true.
going to call you straight after this program because we should continue our conversation from yesterday.
Okay. Yes.
That's my brother. Yes, Anel, I understand you. Because we're wise, because the older woman is always wise, and we know exactly what we want, and we date with intention. We don't really just
Of
date
Yes.
because we
course.
want to date. An
Of
older
Of
course.
woman
You don't have
course.
dates with
time.
intention. And I keep telling
Of
people, I'm not a
course.
younger woman no more. That is the first word that comes out of my mouth with all men. I'm not a younger woman no more. So I don't date just because I want to date for fun. No,
Yes.
I date with intention. If I want to date
Mm-hmm.
you because I want a serious relationship with you, I'm going to tell you that this is what I'm looking for. If it's not right
That's
with
right.
you, we can just move
That's
on
right.
quietly and become friends.
Yes.
If I know that you're not really the man for me, there's no way of me wasting my
Mhm.
time with you. So yes,
Mm.
an older women do date with intention. And Auntie
Me,
Rita,
I
I
wait too.
100% agree with you. Money changes people. So Uncle Carl, you've actually had what the women have actually said, the ladies. And can you give us your point of view, please? Today you're the only man here. I feel sorry for you in a way. But you
He
actually
did
have
Yay!
very
yours
good
too.
though. Good
I
job though. Good
You
job.
held your own,
I
Uncle Carl.
thank you.
Good. Woo.
I am okay. The panel was soft to me today, but I think it's time for
Yes. Yeah.
you to take control, my dear.
Yeah.
It's time to
No,
go.
Uncle Carl, say your final words,
Yeah,
please.
say
We
you ready
love
to
to
go.
listen to you.
He's ready to go.
Okay. Um, I like what Sister Isa has said, and I'm glad that Alicia has come on this show and said what she just said because it reminded me of the first show where
Yes.
everyone was really trying to tell me, no, it don't have. I said it falls back to when you're dating. All that
That's
is for
right.
the dating period. If you
Mhm.
don't get all that lined up in the dating period, you're going to have a problem
Yes.
trying
Problem.
to marry. All the issues that happens that we're talking about in every segment show that we have had
Yeah.
falls right back to dating.
Dating period, yes.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
thank you, Alicia, for coming in and recertifying that with a big
Yeah.
bold. You need it. Thank you. So that's my
Thank you, Uncle Carl.
Hey,
Thank
you
you, Auntie
welcome. You
Alisa.
welcome,
Thank you,
girl.
Auntie Ice. Please don't
Oh,
leave, not
thank
because we're going
you.
off. I need to talk to you guys at the background. Don't leave yet.
Okay.
Give me
Okay.
2 minutes, please. And let me just go back right there. So, as we all see, this is the program that comes to you every single Thursday. And we don't fail. We try not to fail. Every Thursday we on right here, and it's actually we try to do 4 people, people on the panel basically. So far, God has blessed me. We've always had 4, and Uncle Pascal actually ran away today because reason being, he knew exactly the subject matter we were about to talk about. I believe that is one of the reasons. No, Uncle Pascal, we know you were busy. We love you and we miss you. So we'll see you next week. Hopefully, everything will settle down and we'll see you next week again. So, Uncle Pascal, please, when you come next week, we've got a serious topic for you. a serious conversation and something to ask you as well. And for our viewers out there, if you're listening to us unrecorded, please remember, just subscribe to our channel. So for every time we're on, you actually get a notification, and just press subscribe on the button. And we live on YouTube as well. You can find us on Calabash Media, live on YouTube. And these are one of the programs that I do on this platform, and it's every single Thursday, 8 o'clock in the evening. It's Women's Corner, Men's Point of View. So we can hear from the men as well and listen to what they've got to say. So as you've listened to what my panel and my co-host and my brothers and sisters have actually said, please pick what you think is right for you and take out what you think is not really right for you. But I believe we all learn through sharing. So the more we share things, the more we can learn from each other. So please don't forget to subscribe and share the platform as well. We're quite new, but we get in there. We know everyone will come in time to come, really. We love you all and have a blessed week. I'll see you guys again on Tuesday with the Calabash Princess Talk Show. I've got something really, really lovely to discuss with you guys on Tuesday. And guess what it is? It's called Generational Curses. So I might do it on Tuesday or on Sunday, depends what I'm doing. But just subscribe and you'll get me. So it's my next topic is gonna be generational curses because it's killing our society. And I just think we
Yeah.
need to talk about it. I love you all and stay blessed. This is your girl Frances K. Stay blessed and love you.
10 o'clock.
Adios.
Dang.
Oh wow, it
What?
is.